The story begins as we see a boy named Gabimaru, who is about to be executed. The executioner readies his sword, striking his neck repeatedly, but the sword ends up breaking, surprising the officials. He returns to his prison cell, where we learn that Gabimaru was trained as a shinobi since he was a child, and has developed a superhuman body because of his training. A woman named Sajiri documents the event, noting that breaking a blade with his flesh is a simple task for a shinobi like him, and Gabimaru confirms this, saying someone with such terrible swordsmanship can't hurt him. The next day, the Lord orders the executioner to burn Gabimaru at the stake. They set him on fire, covering his body in flames, but after a moment, they see his eyes staring at them through the fire, and the Lord becomes frustrated. Gabimaru returns to his cell unscathed, but he claims he's not trying to resist, and that he actually wants them to kill him. Sajiri informs him about her job to record events, so Gabimaru states that he doesn't know his parents, but he heard they were killed by the village chief when he was a baby. He claims he has no dream, because shinobis only live to kill as they're told, and we learn that he was captured when his cohorts betrayed him, because he wanted to leave the village, and he thinks the village chief had something to do with it, since the village doesn't allow anyone to leave. The following day, the Lord orders his men to have Gabimaru torn apart by bulls. They attach his legs to 2 bulls, but he easily overpowers them with his legs, and the bulls become exhausted. Sajiri goes to him, saying he appears to be resisting the execution, and asking him why he wanted to leave the village. Gabimaru claims he was the best in his village, receiving the chief's recognition, and he even married his daughter. However, he says he got fed up with his wife's naive behavior, so he told the chief that he wanted to leave the village, which is how he ended up in this situation. That evening, one of the observers warned Sajiri about Gabimaru, saying he's a hollow man who killed 20 people before he was arrested, but Sajiri wonders why a hollow man would fight so hard to the point he killed 20 men. In his prison cell, we learn that Gabimaru has actually been resisting the executions, but he decides to end it all tomorrow. During his next execution, he is boiled in hot oil, but he somehow survives it. He thinks he should have no lingering attachments, so he wonders why he can't die. The Lord is freaked out, just wanting things to be over with, but Sajiri informs him that arrangements have been made. They escort Gabimaru through a tunnel, and the Lord laughs, thinking Gabimaru is about to die. He is led to a room, where he sees Sajiri waiting for him. The Lord reveals that she is a sword tester and executioner from the Amida clan, claiming she will be able to behead him with a single blow. Gabimaru imagines her cutting his head off, as he realizes she is the real deal. He breaks his restraints, and Sajiri tries to take him out, but he dodges the attack. Gabimaru is shocked to learn his neck has been cut, and Sajiri continues to attack him as he evades. Sajiri says she can tell that he lied about his wife, and that he actually loves her, which is why he won't let himself be killed. Gabimaru realizes this as well, thinking back to how his time with his wife made him softer. He grabs onto a sword, using it to fight Sajiri, who asks him why he has been lying to himself. He says she knows nothing about the world he lives in, claiming he is hollow. In a flashback, his wife tells him he's not hollow, as she hugs him, calling him a kind person since he is the only one who wasn't repulsed by her face. We learn that in their village, men are treated as soldiers while women are just there to bear children. The village chief wanted his daughter to remember this, so he burned her face to make her stop trying to live like an ordinary woman, but she tells him that people's hearts don't die so easily, as she kisses him. He wanted to stop being a shinobi, and live a quiet life with his wife, so he tells the chief about this, which is the real reason why he got betrayed. Back in the present, Gabimaru fights on, gaining momentum as Sajiri struggles to block his attacks. He claims he can never live like a human no matter how hard he tries, but Sajiri tells him he can, showing him a pardon that would dismiss all his crimes, and grant him the shogun's protection, but under the condition that he goes to the underworld. This makes Gabimaru confused, so Sajiri tells him about a beautiful land called Shinsenkyo, which has recently been discovered. It is said that the immortality-granting elixir of life can be found on that land, so the shogun sent a search party to find the elixir, but one evening, a boat returned full of flowers. But when further examined, there is a body among the flowers. The shogun learns about this, so he orders his men to gather criminals, seeing them as expendable, to send them to the island to bring back the elixir of life, and pardon them if they are successful. Sajiri reveals she is there to look for potential candidates, seeing Gabimaru as a good fit. She tells Gabimaru his wife is waiting for him in the village, and the only way for him to reunite with her is to join the expedition. The Lord still wants Gabimaru dead, ordering his men to attack, but Gabimaru uses his ninjutsu, unleashing fire from his body, allowing him to defeat all the guards in the room. The Lord falls to his knees, as Gabimaru agrees to join the expedition, determined to make it back alive. In a flashback, Sajiri witnesses her father performing an execution, which was so perfectly carried out that the man didn't even realize he'd been beheaded. Sajiri made it her goal to replicate his move, and when it came time for her to perform executions, she managed to do it well, but she imagines the people she killed haunting her. A man named Aizen observes that there is doubt and fear in her swordsmanship, which makes people die painful deaths. He tells Sajiri to look at the reflection on her sword, as he states that the truth is reflected in the blade. Back in the present, Sajiri puts a blindfold on Gabimaru, and she makes him join the other criminals, as they are informed the shogun is sitting before them. They are all given orders to travel to Shinsenkyo, and return with the elixir of life, saying the successful criminal will be pardoned. This makes the atmosphere change, as the criminals realize they can earn their freedom. The speaker describes the island, but the criminals interrupt him, saying it sounds like a fairy tale. The criminals are ordered to remove their masks, and they see a man with flowers coming out of his body. We learn that the man returned alive from the expedition, but he had lumps all over his body, and they started blooming the next day. The criminals begin to have doubts, not wanting to risk their lives in the expedition, but an official reminds them they have all been sentenced to death, so going to the island is considered a generous offer. A criminal named Naragai notices that they don't know anything about the island, wondering if the elixir is even there. An official tells them they are free to drop out, so one of the men tries to leave, but he is immediately executed. The official reveals that they will have the Amida clan serve as monitors while on the island, so if they try anything funny, they will be killed on the spot. He warns the criminals not to try anything, and he adds that if their monitors die for whatever reason, they will be executed. The shogun whispers something to an official's ear, and the official tells them that their numbers need to be reduced before going to the island, because they don't have the resources to accommodate all of them. The criminals are confused, but a man named Chobei calls them idiots, as he chokes another criminal to death. He points out that the officials are doing nothing, so he concludes that the officials want them to kill each other. The official confirms this, so they start killing each other, as the shogun watches on with excitement, but the official thinks this is just pointless violence. The shogun asks about the criminals with the most exceptional skills, and the official tells him about them, saying the most notable among them is Gabimaru. They observe Gabimaru, but he doesn't appear to be moving, as no one is even attacking him. Aizen notices how the violence is making Sajiri overwhelmed, telling her it will be even more brutal on the island, so he questions her capabilities, thinking she isn't suited for the job. Aizen tells her she should just live quietly in her mansion, and Sajiri tells him that she would have if she could. In a flashback, we see Sajiri running away from some bullies, as they make fun of her family for making a living through people's deaths. One day, she picks up a sword, and she sees the reflection on the sword, allowing her to see the spirits haunting it. Back in the present, some of the criminals think about escaping, so they charge at Sajiri, seeing her as an easy target. Aizen wonders if she can handle them, but Sajiri has accepted her fate as an executioner, and she easily takes them all out, but she starts to feel haunted by her victims again. But the spirits disappear, as Gabimaru says that killing people is never okay. Gabimaru asks if there is another way to choose who's going on the expedition, because not everyone wants to kill people. An official threatens him, telling him to watch his tongue, as he orders a criminal to attack him. The man lifts a stone, and throws it at him, but Gabimaru easily dodges it. Gabimaru wants to talk it out, but the criminal refuses, leaving him with no choice but to kill the man, because he needs to survive. He approaches the man, saying he's about to be burdened, as he starts taking out the other criminals with such brutality, that even the shogun is unsettled. Sajiri looks at his reflection through her sword, and she sees countless souls around him, but they don't seem to disturb him. This makes Sajiri realize that what she needs is not to get rid of her fear and doubt, but the strength to take on the burdens of the lives she took. The officials stop them, telling them they will be joining the expedition, and we learn that the 10 criminals who will be joining the expedition are the same criminals who have exceptional skills. They all board a ship, and we see the island as they slowly arrive. Gabimaru remembers when the village chief was pierced by multiple weapons, but he didn't fall, proving his immortality, and it was apparently due to a medicine he acquired from on land across the sea. They arrive at Shinsenkyo, where Gabimaru tells Sajiri that the elixir of life is real, but he isn't sure if they will find it on this island. They explore the island, as Sajiri comments on how beautiful the place is, but Gabimaru thinks it's creepy, saying they don't know what's out there. He breaks his restraints, and Sajiri tells him that he's not allowed to do that, but Gabimaru tells her to let it slide, explaining how they only have a strange drawing as a clue, and their food is only good for 3 days. However, Sajiri threatens to kill him, telling him to bind his hands, as she explains she is not his friend, and her role is as executioner, so he reluctantly complies. As he lets Sajiri tie his hands, he suddenly gets hit by a giant steel ball, blowing him away. The ball returns to a criminal named Kion, who thinks he just got rid of his target, but Gabimaru gets back up, cracking his neck as he admits that it got dislocated. Sajiri explains Kion is a warrior monk who steals the weapons of the warriors he has killed, but Gabimaru points out that Kion's hands aren't restrained, so Sajiri asks Kion's executioner, Kishu, about this. Kisho says they can just tie their hands on the way back, telling Sajiri she's the lowest-ranked executioner because she's too rigid. Kion displays his other weapons, wanting to test them on Gabimaru. Gabimaru doesn't want to waste time fighting, saying that the others will get ahead of them, but Kane says that since they have no leads, he is better off taking out the other criminals and then taking his time to look for the elixir, so Gabimaru realizes he has no choice but to fight. Kane charges at him, but Sajiri asks him to bind his hands. Kane smashes his head, but the mace shatters, so he brings out other weapons to attack Gabimaru, who continues to tie his hands while he endures the blows, breaking Kion's weapons. Kion thrusts his spear at Gabimaru, who has just finished tying his hands. Gabimaru breaks the spear, launching Kion into the air, and as his weapons fall toward Gabimaru, Gabimaru kicks one of the spears at Kion, stabbing him in the chest. Sajiri thinks Gabimaru won with a single attack, but Kane gets back up, saying they're just getting started, but he easily gets defeated by Gabimaru, who uses his own weapons against him. Gabimaru wants to continue their quest, as Kisho beheads Kane, and he heads back to the ship. Gabimaru wonders if he wants to fight, but Kishu says he is just doing his job and doesn't take any sides, even considering himself lucky for getting out so quickly, reminding Sajiri she will be spending time with a dangerous criminal. Kishu tells them about how the other criminals are breaking the rules, and he predicts they will continue to kill each other until there is only one left standing. We see Aizen tying their boat to a tree, when his criminal Rokuroda gets hungry and suddenly attacks him. He tries to defend himself, but his sword is shattered, and he ends up being eaten by Rokuroda. Some of the other criminals meet their end, as Kisho explains that more will be added since they are expendable, revealing that they are recruiting people from Gabimaru's village, as well as the Amana clan. As he leaves, Kisho warns Sajiri not to let her guard down, and she starts to wonder about Gabimaru's true character. At that moment, Gabimaru suddenly attacks her, but she manages to push him back. Gabimaru recalls when the chief killed his parents, it was because they wanted to leave the village. The chief taught Gabimaru that emotions make a person weak, and he won't be able to protect anything unless he is strong. He exchanges blows with Sajiri as he thinks about this, and Sajiri informs him that killing her is against the rules, but Gabimaru says he needs to find the elixir before the other shinobis from his village arrive, seeing her as a hindrance. He continues to attack Sajiri, who thinks he should be executed immediately, but she finds herself hesitating, and we learn that Gabimaru has the same problem, not knowing why he can't bring himself to kill her. Gabimaru remembers how his wife told him to follow his emotions, and we learn that he has been experiencing emotions since he met his wife, which got in the way during his missions. Gabimaru sees an opening, but he stops as he is about to deal the finishing blow, so he gets pushed back. He sees this as a weakness, thinking he won't be able to survive, so he continues his assault, as he thinks about the chief's advice, making him hollow again. He breaks Sajiri's sword, and he is about to cut her down, but she uses her sheath to defend herself. Gabimaru eventually comes out on top, ready to deal the finishing blow, but he struggles to finish her off, admitting he still has emotions left, and he starts crying, thinking he has become weak. Sajiri tells him it's not weakness, but the seed of strength, as she believes that not fleeing from his emotions is strength. She decides to overlook his behavior, wanting to see him face his emotions and reclaim his life, as she tells him he is no longer his old self. But that's where the video ends. Let me know your thoughts on this anime. Also let me know if you want me to cover part 2. And if you enjoyed watching this video, consider liking and subscribing for more like it. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you next time.